Hello, little friends. Today we're going to travel to a time very, very far away, to a world full of adventure, miracles, and courage. This is the story of Moses, a special man who helped free his people, the Israelites, from slavery in Egypt. Get ready for an exciting journey full of surprises and magic. A very long time ago, in the warm lands of Egypt, lived a people called the Israelites. They were hardworking and kind, but they lived under a harsh and sad rule, forced to work without rest for a very powerful king. This king, afraid that the people would grow and become strong, ordered their lives to be made even harder. The Israelites wondered why, but in the midst of their suffering, a light of hope was about to shine. In that difficult time, a baby boy named Moses was born. But he wasn't just any baby. His destiny was very special. When Moses' mother knew her son was so important that he had to be protected, she decided to hide him in a basket made of reeds and set it afloat on the Nile River, hoping the current would carry him to a safe place. The river, like a faithful friend, carried the basket to the king's palace. There, the Pharaoh's daughter, upon finding little Moses, felt in her heart that he was a special gift and decided to adopt him. Moses grew up in the luxury of the palace, learning and playing, but he always felt a great love for his people in his heart. Even though he lived among the Egyptian princes, he did not forget that he was a son of the Israelites. As the years went by, Moses' heart filled with bravery and compassion, and so, without knowing it, Moses began to prepare the way for an adventure that would change the lives of many. One day, while Moses was tending his father-in-law's sheep in the desert, something extraordinary happened. In front of him, he saw a burning bush, but imagine this: the bush was not burning up. In that moment, a deep and warm voice echoed in the air. It was the voice of God. He spoke to Moses, telling him that the time had come to free his people from Egypt. Moses' heart pounded. He knew the task would be hard, but he also understood that with God's help, no obstacle would be too great to overcome. With the message of the great light in his heart, Moses returned to Egypt. There he met with his people, who had suffered for so many years. With a confident voice, Moses told them about the promise of freedom and a land full of hope. The Israelites, filled with excitement and hope, joined Moses. Thus began the great Exodus, the escape from Egypt, a journey that would change their lives forever. But before they could leave in freedom, Moses had to face a very big challenge: convincing the Pharaoh to let his people go. And the Pharaoh, stubborn and proud, refused. That's when amazing things began to happen. God sent miracles and, at times, plagues upon Egypt to show his great power. Imagine seeing rivers of water turned into blood, jumping frogs in every corner, and dark clouds full of locusts. Each miracle and each plague was a sign for the people and for the Pharaoh. Little by little, the power of justice and truth prevailed, and the Pharaoh's heart began to soften, though it took him time to understand the greatness of divine power. Finally, the long-awaited moment arrived. The night the Israelites were to leave Egypt forever, God gave them special instructions to celebrate Passover, a dinner full of symbols and hope that would forever remember the miracle of their freedom. Prepare a special feast. Paint your houses with joy and faith, because tonight, freedom is about to be born. But the adventure doesn't have to end here. You can become an adventure messenger. How? It's easy. Just hit the share button and send this story to your friends and family. Imagine them discovering these incredible feats and characters for the first time. With hearts full of faith, the Israelites left in the darkness of the night. With Moses leading the way, they walked with a firm step toward freedom, leaving fear and oppression behind. But the adventure still had an amazing challenge ahead. The Egyptians, furious at the loss of their slaves, did not just sit back and do nothing. Soon, they were chasing Moses' group. You could feel the tension in the air, and the Israelites began to fear what was coming. Before them rose an obstacle that seemed impossible to overcome: the mighty Red Sea. The Egyptian army was getting closer, and the wall of water stood like an infinite barrier. The Israelites stopped, not knowing how to cross that sea. Then, a miracle happened that would leave everyone breathless. Moses raised his staff, and instantly, God made the sea part. The waters pulled back, forming two enormous walls of water and leaving a dry path in the middle of the sea. With their hearts full of faith and hope, the Israelites began to cross the sea. One by one, they walked through that magical passage, leaving fear and darkness behind. As they crossed, the sound of firm steps and whispers of awe filled the air. The Egyptians, seeing the miracle, hurried to follow them. But just as they were about to catch the Israelites, the waters rushed back together with a mighty roar. The sea slammed shut, putting an end to the chase. The Israelites, filled with joy and amazement, looked around. They had witnessed an incredible miracle, and now, with freedom in their hearts, they began a long journey toward a promised land, a place where they could live in peace and prosperity. And although the road ahead was full of challenges, the miracle of the Red Sea reminded everyone that with faith and courage, anything was possible. Every step they took was a reminder of the power of love, hope, and divine protection. The story of Moses and the freedom of the Israelites is more than just a tale of miracles. It is the story of the courage to believe in yourself, to fight for what is right, and to trust that even in the darkest moments, a light of hope can shine and guide us. And so, my friends, the story of Moses teaches us that we can all be heroes in our own lives. With courage, friendship, and trust, we can overcome any obstacle and find the freedom we all long for. Dear friends, as night begins to fall and the light of hope shines in every corner, let us always remember this great adventure. The story of Moses and the freedom of the Israelites is an example of how, when we work together and trust in a higher power, miracles can happen. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope that in hearing this story, you feel that inside each of you is a hero waiting to shine. Always remember to be brave, help others, and above all, dream big. Until the next adventure, little heroes, keep believing in the magic of life and in the power of friendship and love. Goodbye.